Alright, so we put 0 here, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. I think you can draw this example as well. 1, 2, 3. So negative 3 is going to go here, right? And negative 1. And Destiny, which one is closer to 0?
Negative 1.
Negative 1, right? So that's going to be our bigger number because it's closer to our 0 there. Yep.
That makes sense. Are you talking about negatives or all numbers?
Negative numbers, right? So if we were to, I guess, yeah, if we were to look at 3 and 1 on this side, which one would be bigger?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so the 3 would be bigger, right? In this case, it's further away. I'll go over that in a second. We're just going to look at what we have there. So that's a good point. So if it's, you're dealing with two negative numbers, your bigger one is going to be the one that's closer to 0, right? Because as we go to the left, the numbers get smaller or bigger? Smaller. Smaller. And as we go to the right, bigger, they get bigger.
Bigger.
Oh. So I like to think about comparing the two numbers, which one's on the left and which one's on the right. So the negative 1 is on the right? So it's going to be the bigger number. So you can still think of it as 0, but just like Jade said, you have to flip it when you're looking on the other side of 0. Okay. Alright, so if we do, greater numbers are to the right or left?
Right.
To the right number line. And lesser numbers are to the middle.
That's a word.
Right. Mr. told me that lesser is a word. We can confirm that if you want. I think it's just not commonly used, but it's a word. Lesser. Alright, so greater numbers to the right, lesser numbers to the left. And remember, we do have our trusty number line over there. Alright, we got those two blanks? Cool. Alright, 2 more points. 2 more points. So for this one, we're going to go through what each of these signs mean, and then give an example. So for the first one, who can tell me what that means? Yeah, Tajay.
Less than.
Less than? Can you give me an example?
7 is less than 3. I mean, it's 8.
7 is less than 8. Just making sure. Thank you. What does this sign mean? Yeah, come here. Greater than? Can you give me an example? Can someone give me one that has a negative number in it? Let's throw some negatives there. Yeah, Tanisha.
For greater than?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so negative 13 is greater than negative 19.
Nice. Negative 13 is greater than negative 19.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good. Alright, how about this one? Yeah, sure. Less than or equal to. Okay, and this or word is going to be important for us. Who can give me an example for this? Less than or equal to? Jasmine, go ahead.
6 is less than or equal to.
Okay. So the reason why this works, right, is because it can either be less than or equal to or both.
Oh.
So here, this is a true statement, right? Because if we just look at the equal part, 16 is equal to 16, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I could also do 5 is less than or equal to 16 because that covers the less than part, because 5 is less than 16, right?
So you can write that one as 1.
So these are 2 different examples.
You can write that one as 1 out of the 2.
Uh-huh. So it can be,
So why you don't just write that for other ones?
so, you mean these other ones? So these are, they don't have the, so this is like half of the equal sign, right? That one little dash underneath, and these 2 do not have it, so in this case, it wouldn't work. This wouldn't, like 8 is not less than 8, right? So we don't want that.
Okay, so like the sign is used for like if it's less than or equal to. But you see how like at the top, like first one is less than. So like what about this is the test and then you do like I don't know any question. But like what about we use the first sign or the third sign? Like which one will be right?
So it depends on what you want to say. So if I have the two numbers, 8 and 8, right? And we're picking between these two, which
No, I know it's gonna be equal to. I'm talking about like if it's less than like how you just did 5 and 16.
So just picking which one you would use.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it depends on the case. I think usually if you're given the option to fill in what sign, like we're leaving that blank. So you could put this or this and both.
Oh, so
So
it
if
don't
you-
matter either one of the other.
Right, if you're given a choice. But if you're given that as a problem, then that's what it is.
Oh my God.
But that's a good question because there are two possible answers for that problem. Yep. Cool. Yes, Jane.
So, like, it's kind of like that question, but like, what's the play that we made if it's like they already have the other two? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
So
this
what?
whole thing is a whole different
Got you. So I guess the reason why we have these is when we don't want it to be equal to. So there's some cases where we don't want to include the number. Is that what you're asking?
You're talking about if it's just like a sign and you have to put a number and a sign. Oh,
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead, Julia. Yes, I did.
I had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
But so an equal sign wouldn't be an equality symbol. So that's why it's like you have less than and equal to they like.
Yeah. So I get since we're calling these inequality signs because equal sign is equal and it's not counted under that. Yeah. Question. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Less.
yeah.
Less than or equal to. Alright, question?
Yeah, like stop. You see how like the bottom got the line too, right?
Right. So let's look
Yeah,
at
wait. So that would be equal to because we could put together 2 equal.
Yeah, so what would the meaning for this last sign be?
I know, that's what I said.
Can you give us the meaning for this one? Greater than or equal to. Very good, Shay. Greater than or equal to. Can you give me an example? Negative 1 is greater than or equal to. Negative. That works. So we could also put, so in this case, negative 1 is greater than negative 6, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. What could we could also put negative 1 as greater than or equal to itself, right? Because it's equal. Yes.
So no, this is not even sense because it's equal to again. So like, but like, if it was the same thing on the test and it's equal to like, which one we gonna put it? Because they still gonna put it more equal.
So when you're given the option to put in the sign, there is a chance that you could have more than one possibility.
So it could be either one.
Yeah, as long as it's still a true statement. Yes, me.
So why couldn't you say that 7 is less than or equal to 8?
You can. But this would be an example. You could also say that 7 is less than 8. So those are two.
So it's kind of the same thing.
Either one, yeah. But just know the difference between the two. That this you could include the number itself. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Alright, so we have 4 different inequality signs. So this is pointing to the smaller or the bigger number?
Bigger.
So it's pointing that way. The smaller number. So if you want to figure out which number it's pointing to, it's going to be pointing to the smaller number. Yeah.
So when it say it's pointing towards it, it's not talking about the open part, it's talking about
The
the
close
closed
part.
part.
Yeah, so if you were to draw an arrow, then it would be pointing that way, to the left. So if you think about an arrow going, which way it would go to the left. You can also think about it like, if this is like an alligator, it's the other way around, it's going to eat the bigger
I
number.
thought it was texting. That's how I used to think about it.
Yeah, so either way, you want to think about it. Either it points to the smaller number or it eats the bigger number. Okay? We cool? I like all the questions about clarifying the difference between these two because that is important to figure out how they're different. Yes.